You're here because you want to get smart fast, right? No endless rambling, just the crucial stuff.
Exactly.
Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving straight into the key takeaways from Mr. Ashmufar's first live webinar of 2025. We've gone through the core of what he shared, and our mission is simple: bring you the essential updates and insights
Right.
so you can understand what's happening without spending hours yourself.
Exactly. We're looking at the significant points Mr. Mufari made, trying to, understand the context and what it all means for the future.
Yeah.
It's about getting you the information you need efficiently.
So picture this: the first big online gathering of the year, and Mr. Mufara kicks things off. He's thanking everyone for being there.
Okay.
But it wasn't just pleasantries. He immediately stated that his aim for the session was to provide real value to those attending.
Ah, good.
That sets the stage, doesn't it?
It does. Starting with that intention of adding value suggests a focus on the audience, on their needs, which is
Right.
always a good sign. It makes you wonder, though, how that value would actually be delivered, especially given some of the topics he went on to discuss.
Absolutely, because from there, he didn't really shy away from some pretty significant challenges the organization has faced.
Oh.
He talked openly about past organizational shifts, and the closure of operations in Dubai was a key point he raised.
Right, Dubai. And he connected that situation to difficulties they also experienced in Bangladesh and Egypt, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
So it wasn't just about shutting down one office. It sounds like there were, broader issues at play in those regions.
Seems like it.
The fact that he brought up multiple locations suggests these weren't just isolated incidents.
Right. And it wasn't just about where they were operating. He also expressed some clear regret concerning past staff issues.
Okay.
He mentioned problems with management that wasn't productive, and then he raised the very serious issue of criminal behavior by certain individuals.
Wow. Okay. Criminal behavior. That's quite a statement.
It is.
When you hear about both unproductive management and criminal behavior, it paints a picture of a company grappling with some significant internal challenges.
Definitely.
Makes you think about the kind of impact that could have on, well, on just functioning effectively.
Totally. He specifically mentioned that no longer operating in Dubai created complications.
Hmm.
And the investments they made in Bangladesh, unfortunately, didn't lead to any successful operations. Just highlights the unpredictable nature of global ventures, I guess.
It does. Expanding into new markets always carries risk, doesn't it?
Always.
And it seems those investments in Bangladesh just didn't pan out as hoped.
Yeah.
These kinds of setbacks are a reality in business,
Sure.
and it's often what you learn from them that's most valuable.
And then there's the situation in Egypt. He described establishing operations there as costly,
Mm-hmm.
and he even alleged that management was complicit in those failures.
Complicit. Wow. That sounds like a really deep-rooted problem.
Yeah.
Allegations of management complicity point to potentially systemic issues,
Right.
within the organization's leadership.
Right.
It's not just about financial losses. It raises big questions about accountability and trust within that management structure.
For sure.
You have to wonder what the long-term repercussions of something like that might be.
He also made it very clear that these past issues, particularly the criminal actions of some former employees, made it necessary for him to distance himself from those individuals.
Yeah, well, that's a step you don't take lightly.
Oh.
Absolutely. When there are potential legal implications involved with former personnel, severing those ties is often just a necessary measure.
To protect the organization.
Exactly. Protect the org, ensure a clean break from past problems. It's about safeguarding the future, really.
Okay, so that's a look back at some of the tough lessons learned. Mr. Mufari then kind of pivoted to a much broader topic,
Okay.
something that affects all of us: the massive transformations happening in our lives because of technology.
Ah, the big picture stuff. This is where he connects those internal organizational challenges to what's happening in the world at large.
Exactly.
He's framing it within the context of significant global shifts driven by tech advancements. That's an interesting way to look at it.
But he didn't just talk about the amazing things technology can do. He specifically pointed out that there are negative side effects that come along with all this progress.
Mhm. A balanced view.
Yeah, acknowledging both the good and the potential downsides.
It is a more nuanced perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new tech, right?
Totally.
But recognizing the potential negative consequences is crucial for, well, responsible innovation and adaptation. What kind of negative effects was he hinting at?
Well, he gave a really striking example related to education.
Oh.
He mentioned that children in China are learning about artificial intelligence at a very young age.
Wow.
That really highlights just how rapidly things are changing, especially when it comes to preparing, the next generation.
That's a powerful illustration. The speed and integration of advanced tech into foundational things like education.
Right.
It just underscores the need for individuals, organizations everywhere to consider how they're going to adapt to a world where AI literacy is becoming, well, increasingly important.
Following that, he really emphasized the importance of working together, collective action,
Collective action, okay.
to navigate these technological changes in a way that benefits everyone. He even reminded the audience of our shared humanity amidst all this tech advancement. It's like a call for unity.
That call for collective action is interesting. It suggests he believes these tech transformations are just too significant to navigate individually.
Yeah, it requires a coordinated effort.
Right. And the reminder of our shared humanity adds that ethical dimension, suggesting these changes should serve people, not the other way around.
And he took it a step further, encouraging people to take risks for positive causes, stressing that meaningful change only happens when we actually do something. It's not enough to just talk about it.
That's a motivational message. Linking the understanding of these big tech shifts with the power of individual agency.
Yeah.
It suggests everyone has a role to play in shaping a positive future, and that, inaction isn't really an option.
Shifting gears again, it became clear that Mr. Mufara has a deep appreciation for the community surrounding his work.
Yeah, the community aspect.
Yeah, he expressed a lot of genuine gratitude and thanks for their support.
Acknowledging and valuing the community is crucial for any organization relying on its support, isn't it?
Definitely.
His emphasis on leaving good memories for others also speaks to a long-term vision beyond just immediate gains.
He specifically mentioned the heartfelt contributions and the personal journeys of the people attending. It sounds like he recognizes the individual efforts and dedication within the community. That kind of personal recognition can be really powerful.
It absolutely can. When a leader acknowledges the individual contributions, it fosters a stronger sense of connection, of shared purpose. It moves beyond just a transactional relationship to something more personal, more meaningful.
He also talked about accountability. The importance of not disappointing those who have placed their trust in him and the organization.
Right.
That shows a real sense of responsibility towards his supporters.
It does. When people invest their faith, their support in a vision or a leader, there's an inherent responsibility to honor that trust and to strive to meet their expectations. It's a cornerstone of any strong relationship, really, personal or professional.
And it seems that feeling is mutual. He mentioned a collective appreciation being expressed for the impact he has had.
Oh.
That suggests a positive and supportive dynamic within that community.
That reciprocal appreciation indicates a healthy, engaged community, where contributions and efforts, both from the leader and the supporters, are valued.
Yeah.
It's a sign of a strong, connected ecosystem.
Then the conversation turned to more practical business matters. There was discussion about the necessity of having backup plans in place, especially when a business encounters setbacks. Like a safety net, isn't it?
Exactly. In the unpredictable world of business, contingency plans are just essential for resilience.
Yeah.
It's about anticipating potential challenges and having alternative strategies ready, so setbacks don't completely derail the whole operation.
He also mentioned that there are upcoming changes expected within the organization.
Ooh, okay. Upcoming changes.
Which naturally leads to questions, right? Someone did ask about potential shifts in commission structures under a new business model.
Ah, the money question. That's a key concern for anyone whose income is tied to commissions.
Of course.
It is a very practical and relevant question. Any changes to a business model can have direct implications for compensation.
Right.
So it's understandable the community would be interested in those details. Raises questions about how the organization will incentivize and reward people going forward.
There was also just a brief mention about how effective the communication tools were during the webinar itself.
Oh, feedback on the tech.
Yeah, getting feedback on how information is being delivered is always a good practice.
Absolutely. Clear, efficient communication is vital, especially virtually. Assessing the tool's effectiveness helps ensure the message lands clearly.
And that the audience can engage properly.
Exactly.
Now, this is interesting. Mr. Mufare mentioned he made a deliberate choice to speak from his heart rather than relying on pre-prepared materials. He wanted, he said, a more authentic, genuine conversation.
That can be really impactful if done well.
Yeah.
It can foster a stronger sense of connection, of trust. When a leader speaks candidly, directly, it can feel more personal, more relatable.
Builds rapport.
Potentially, yeah. Build a deeper rapport with the audience.
He also directly addressed the topic of critics.
Ah, the critics. What was the take?
His advice was quite firm. Just completely ignore negativity.
That's a common approach for many public figures.
It is?
It is a strategy many leaders adopt, really, to protect their focus and energy. Engaging with negativity can be draining, unproductive.
Sure.
So choosing to disregard it for more positive engagement can be, well, pragmatic.
He went on to suggest that these detractors lack credibility
Okay.
and that it's much wiser to invest time and effort in those who are actually open to embracing change.
Right.
It's about focusing your resources where they'll have the most impact.
That aligns with prioritizing positive engagement. By focusing on those who are receptive, willing to move forward, you're likely to see more constructive outcomes.
Makes sense.
Rather than trying to convince those who are resistant or critical.
The discussion also touched on the crucial role of product choices and how they directly affect the user experience.
Ah, the products themselves.
Ultimately, that's what people are engaging with.
Exactly. The quality, usability, the value of the products are fundamental to customer satisfaction, overall success.
Got to get that right.
Careful consideration of product development, user feedback. It's essential.
There were also expressions of gratitude and condolences shared during the webinar, which highlights the human connection and support system that seems to exist around Mr. Mufare. That personal element is always important.
It is. Recognizing and acknowledging the human element within a professional context fosters that sense of community and support,
Yeah.
which can be particularly important during challenging times.
He also emphasized the vital importance of trust in business operations.
Trust, okay.
And the need for verification. In today's environment where misinformation can spread so easily,
Oh, definitely.
that focus on trust and verification makes a lot of sense.
It does. Trust is the bedrock of strong business relationships. Emphasizing verification underscores the importance of due diligence, transparency,
Yeah.
in building and maintaining that trust with customers, partners, the wider community.
He acknowledged that there are always uncertainties in the business world,
Always.
but he reiterated a strong commitment to striving for security and trust. That kind of reassurance can be very important for stakeholders.
Balancing the acknowledgement of inherent uncertainties with a firm commitment to security and trust, it provides realism
Right.
while also offering reassurance and building confidence in the organization's direction.
Towards the end of the webinar, Mr. Mufare reflected on the journey so far
Looking back.
and stressed how important it is to understand the full context of everything that has happened. Sounds like there's a significant backstory informing the present.
Reflecting on the past journey provides valuable perspective. It helps the community understand the evolution, the challenges overcome,
Yeah.
the reasons behind current strategies. Understanding context is key to interpreting the present and the future direction.
One of the participants even acknowledged Mr. Mufare's commitment and growth since 2018.
Oh, wow. Since 2018.
Suggests a considerable period of transformation and development. That kind of external recognition can be really validating.
It can be very meaningful when community members recognize and acknowledge the progress, the dedication of leadership over time. It highlights the shared journey and the impact of sustained effort.
Mr. Mufare then outlined the direction for the future, assuring everyone that more details would be shared as soon as possible.
Okay, looking ahead.
However, he also emphasized that there are limitations on what can be discussed right now due to ongoing legal matters.
The legal constraints. That's an important caveat.
Yeah.
Transparency within legal constraints is a delicate balance, isn't it?
For sure.
Reassuring the community about future plans while acknowledging the restrictions, it helps manage expectations.
Right.
Provides necessary context without jeopardizing any ongoing processes.
He also urged the community to respect the boundaries of what can be openly discussed and encouraged everyone to really consider their own expectations in light of the current circumstances. It's a call for understanding and patience.
That's a reasonable request, especially with legal matters involved. Understanding and respecting those limitations is crucial.
Gotta be careful.
Right. And encouraging reflection on expectations can also help prevent misunderstandings or frustrations down the line.
Finally, he ended on a positive note by highlighting the productive progress made over the past 3 months.
Okay. Recent progress, good.
That sense of forward momentum is always encouraging.
Emphasizing recent progress provides a sense of momentum, yeah. Can instill confidence in the future direction. It suggests that despite past challenges, positive steps are being taken.
So that's our deep dive into Mr. Mufara's first webinar of 2025. He covered a lot, didn't he?
He certainly did.
From past hurdles to future ambitions, strong emphasis on community, transparency where possible, even with those ongoing legal issues.
Absolutely. The key themes that really stand out are acknowledging past difficulties and the lessons learned.
Right.
A clear awareness of the significant tech changes happening globally, a deep appreciation for the community's support, and a commitment to moving forward with integrity and transparency while navigating the complexities of that legal landscape.
And for you, our listener, hopefully this has given you that quick yet thorough understanding you were looking for.
Yeah.
You've gotten a condensed version of the key updates and insights, organizational challenges, tech shifts, community spirit, all of it.
And, this webinar touches on some really significant themes relevant to many of us. Consider how organizations learn and adapt from past challenges. Think about the rapid pace of technological change and how we navigate its impact, personally and professionally.
Big questions.
And reflect on the importance of community and trust in any endeavor. These are all big questions that resonate far beyond this specific webinar, really. Something to think about. Okay, so you've shared Ash Mufara's first webinar of 2025. And you want the key stuff, right, without needing to sit through the whole thing.
Exactly. A lot of people want the highlight.
Consider it done. We've, gone through it all, looked closely at the main themes, the big takeaways.
And we have a pretty detailed summary to work from.
We do. So our mission here is, well, pretty straightforward. Boil down the critical info company changes, operational issues, tech adaptation, future plans, all that.
But keep it, easy to digest.
Exactly. Concise and clear. So where should we kick things off? How do we unpack this?
Well, I think a good place to start is the atmosphere at the beginning, how the webinar opened.
Okay.
Mr. Mufara starts off expressing real gratitude to everyone there. It felt pretty sincere, less like just going through the motions.
Right, sort of setting a tone of shared experience, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. And he states his goal is to add value, which, frames everything that follows.
Sets the stage.
Yeah.
Connection, information sharing. Good. And did he outline the format?
He did, yeah. Said it'd be his presentation, then a Q&A afterwards.
Simple enough. Straightforward. Yeah. Sets expectations. Okay, but then things seem to pivot towards some pretty big challenges the company's been facing. That feels important to get into.
Oh, absolutely. Crucial stuff. He talks about significant operational headwinds, specifically calls out Dubai operations.
Dubai. Okay. What kind of issues?
He mentioned a lack of productivity from what he called tied locations.
Tied locations. What do you think that implies? Like dependencies or something?
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Maybe limited autonomy, or perhaps too reliant on, a central point. It could explain the productivity drag.
Yeah, that makes sense. And wasn't there something about Bangladesh too?
Yes, significant investments there. But unfortunately, it sounds like they haven't really paid off, led to ongoing troubles instead.
Oof. That highlights the risks of expansion, doesn't it? Any idea what might have gone wrong there?
It's hard to say from just that. Could be anything, really. Regulatory hurdles they didn't expect, market realities being different, maybe just logistical nightmares. Yeah. It really underlines that you need more than just cash for international growth. You need that deep local insight, agility.
For sure. Proper due diligence. He also mentioned something quite serious in Dubai, didn't he? About management.
He did. Management complicity that, he said, affected the company's integrity.
Wow, that's a heavy statement. The impact of something like that goes beyond just delays or money, right?
Oh, definitely. It can kill trust, internally, externally, damage reputation, potential legal issues even. You have to tackle that head on.
Which seems to lead into the next point, having to part ways with some staff.
Exactly. He was quite blunt about it, called some former staff untrustworthy, even criminal, stressed the need to move forward.
Didn't sound like easy decisions, but necessary ones to protect the organization, perhaps.
That's the impression, yes. Tough calls leaders sometimes face, but then the conversation sort of zooms out a bit, looking at technology shifts.
Ah, okay. The bigger picture.
Yeah, he reflects on just how fast tech and, well, even lifestyles are changing.
Did he give an example?
He did. He mentioned AI being taught mandatorily to young kids in China.
Wow. Yeah, that's a vivid picture. Shows how fast AI is embedding itself everywhere, even basic education.
Totally. And it highlights the speed of change, the need to adapt, not just for companies, but like for all of us.
So how does he suggest dealing with that pace? Just try to keep up?
His angle seems to be more about collaboration, working together to navigate these shifts in a, positive way.
So not being overwhelmed, but actively engaging.
Exactly. He framed it like we need to work with the change, and he also encouraged taking risks, but for good causes.
Risk for good causes. Interesting.
Yeah, it suggests progress needs that willingness to, try things, push boundaries, especially using tech for good.
It's quite a forward-looking stance, balancing the speed of change with a sort of optimistic call to action. Now, the webinar also seemed to highlight a lot of community support for him, for his leadership.
Very much so. The summary points to deep appreciation from people, real emotional connection there. Phrases like good shape and positive influence.
So it sounds like his role is maybe bigger than just CEO, like an inspiration figure.
It seems that way for many, yes. And they acknowledged his accountability, too, the value of his leadership.
Which builds trust, right? Not just celebrating wins, but owning the whole picture.
Precisely. And there was recognition of significant help he's given to company members.
What kind of help do you think fosters that kind of loyalty, mentorship, opportunities?
Could be all of that. When a leader seems genuinely invested in people's success, not just the business's success, it builds really strong bonds, much deeper than just, a paycheck relationship.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
More relational leadership style.
Yeah.
Okay, so connecting that back, how do these things, the tech focus and this strong community, shape the future plans he discussed?
Well, the focus on AI and digital products fits right in with the tech transformation point. It signals where they're headed strategically.
New AI tools, expanding digital offerings, that sort of thing?
Seems likely, yeah. And mentioning backup plans.
That's just sensible, isn't it? Risk management 101.
Absolutely. Shows foresight, planning for bumps in the road.
Always important.
And he gave a heads up about upcoming changes. Business model, commission structure, things evolving in the next few months.
Okay, so people need to stay tuned for details on that.
Pretty much. And he acknowledged the long-term participants, too. Recognize their experience, their resilience.
Which is a nice touch. Values the loyalty of people who've stuck around. Now, he also got a bit personal, didn't he? Shared some beliefs, how he handles negativity.
He did. Expressed belief in the audience, their potential, can be very motivating.
And opted for an unscripted conversation.
Yeah, which probably felt more authentic, like a real chat, fostering that genuine connection instead of a polished presentation.
And his advice on negativity. Just ignore it.
Essentially, yeah. Ignore harmful comments, toxic people. Focus your energy elsewhere.
Straightforward advice.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hardest to follow, though.
True. But his point was about investing time in positive relationships, positive conversations, build a supportive environment.
Good advice for life, really, not just business.
Okay, then the focus shifted again towards trust, verification, app improvements.
It did. These seem critical, especially after hearing about the earlier operational challenges.
Right, so focusing on getting the product right, making the application smooth for users.
Exactly. It's about the core offering, the user journey. Building satisfaction, hopefully long-term success. It suggests they're committed to refining things.
And we saw more evidence of the community bond there, too. Condolences and support for him personally.
Yes, that came through. Shows that personal connection and empathy.
And the talk around trust within the business, needing verification, addressing past issues, it all points towards learning from mistakes, building something more reliable and transparent going forward.
So acknowledging guarantees are impossible, but aiming for security through, better processes and documentation.
That seems to be the message. Building confidence through clear actions and communication.
Okay. And finally, there's the topic of transparency versus legal constraints. Managing expectations.
Yeah, that's important context. Framing the webinar as being about the journey, the future direction, not necessarily revealing everything right now.
And acknowledging his own growth since 2018 adds that human touch again.
It does. And explaining that legal rules sometimes limit what can be shared publicly is, crucial for people to understand.
Manages expectations, avoids frustration, maybe?
Hopefully, it sets boundaries. But he also assured them of future updates, more details when possible.
So, ongoing dialogue within legal limits.
Seems to be the plan. Keeping people informed as much as they can, when they can.
Okay. So, if we take a step back now, look at the whole picture from this deep dive. What are the big themes weaving through it all?
I'd say you've got a company clearly in transition. Yeah. Facing up to some serious operational challenges.
Right. But also strategically leaning into tech changes.
Definitely. And heavily relying on, or maybe buoyed by, its community strength and support.
And planning for the future, but with a clear eye on learning from past issues.